Fellas, say goodbye to Chuck Sherman the boy. I am now a man. I highly recommend you join the club. We are doing the wild thing all night.
Acid house music.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sherm.
Sherman, I cooked all this food. Is that all you gonna eat?
General Sherman realized and understood the importance of house music.
So, do you know anything about techno?
No.
Listen.
Get it on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm. Today is Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. This is episode 139. Gosh, I can't believe I just said it's December 16th, 2020. This year's absolutely flown by. I can't wait for it to be over with. Let's turn over a new leaf. Let's start anew. But before we do, I still have a few more incredible interviews for you to round out the year. And I'm very excited about this one. It's with my man, Steve Gerard. I actually had Steve on about a year ago for the first time. We've been great friends ever since. I have so much respect for this guy. He is truly a tastemaker and innovator in the Chicago scene and on a global scale. And all things considered, Steve has been killing it in 2020, so it's great to catch up with him. In episode 139, we talked about how 2020 has been going for Steve. Like so many other DJs, his entire schedule was basically flipped around. So Steve's been using all this extra time to his advantage, and he sent me a bunch of unreleased music. Everybody better get ready, because this is his best work to date. It is incredible. Now, like I said, Steve has still been killing it this year and has released so many incredible tracks. From Posin with Apollo XO to Victoria's Secret with Pinkmachine, Steve has been on fire. He actually had one of his biggest releases to date under one of his aliases called Servante, a special collaboration with Gettoblaster called This Beat. It came out on Defected Records, literally one of the biggest record labels in the world, and it's an incredible track. It's well deserved. No surprises that they picked it up, but that was a bucket list for Steve. It's a bucket list for any producer, so congratulations to you again, Steve, on a big year. Although club and festival gigs have been out of the picture for Steve this year, he was still able to play a bunch of these awesome and well put together drive-in shows. He supported artists like Green Velvet, Walker Royce, Derek Carter, and Wax Motif, just to name a few. It was really cool to get Steve's experience at these as a DJ, seeing how happy the people are just to be able to dance together again. Steve is truly a Chicago legend, so I wanted to ask him his opinion on the state of the industry. He's been in the game for so long, but I was inspired by his optimism for the future of the industry. Steve said people are more creative than ever, and next year is going to be a dawn of a new era in electronic music, and I think he's right. I'm so excited to see what happens. I have such a profound amount of respect for Steve. He truly is one of the most talented producers I know, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future. It is always a pleasure to talk to this hooligan. Steve, thanks for making the time, my man. And guys, let's get into it right now. This is episode 139 with Steve Gerard.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Gerard. I'm just noticing, actually, just right now, we're talking before air. You cut your hair.
Yeah, I chopped it all off.
Look at you.
I know. I went all the way down. I did it myself. Literally, I got home from work, and I just didn't. I had a shower because I didn't shower for like 2 days before that day. So I hop in the shower, and I'm like, I really don't want to fucking spend 20 minutes just washing and conditioning my hair, because it was past my nipples.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck this. So I just grabbed my clippers and I just zeroed my entire head. Like, this was probably 2 or 3 months ago. And then now I'm like, I'm going to get one more haircut, and then 2021, I'm just going to let it go again, you know?
Yeah, for sure. A great reset for you.
Yeah, but it all stemmed from me being lazy and not wanting to wash it. Make that.
Every reaction has an action, right? That's hilarious. I like it. Actually. It makes you look a lot younger, but it's good to be talking to you. You know, it's flown by, but it's been about a year since we had you on the podcast last.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It has been a while, man. Obviously, this year has been really tough, but you've been crushing it. So many awesome releases. We got plenty to catch up on. I guess, how have you been, though, since March? I mean, you were supposed to play the Chami show at Radius.
Yeah, and, I mean, that was supposed to be... It was March 13th.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was March 12th, and it was my birthday. That was my birthday as well.
Good
So
present.
I found out maybe 2 hours before doors.
Yeah.
Like Ron Carroll was like, it was supposed to be me back to back Ron Carroll. We're supposed to have a 4-hour set.
Yeah.
So Ron's like getting ready to come over to my crib and just like kick it before. And 2 hours before doors, Mike Lane calls me. It's like, it's no go, my man. I'm like, fucking great, you know, like thanks for the birthday present, Lightfoot.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a necessary precaution, so you can't be mad in the long run.
Jesus.
And obviously, like I've been in contact with those guys, so we we have a lot of stuff cooking for 2021 already that's on the calendar, which is good. So it's nobody's fault. So you can't really be mad, but it's just such a buzzkill. Like when it's especially on like your birthday night, you're ready to like go out and like see everybody and like have fun and fucking do all the party stuff. And
that was such a weird time, wasn't it? Like that week leading up, like nobody knew what the fuck was going on, and I don't think anyone really knew.
Everybody just saw how bad New York was.
Yeah.
At the time, and everyone was like, "Fuck, I hope it doesn't get bad like that here." But like, the United States in general was just like 2 months behind on absolutely everything that could have made this better. But I mean, there's nothing we could do now. So.
No, I forgot about that. I was naive for so many different periods of time during this pandemic. Like, for whatever reason, I thought that there weren't going to be riots during the George Floyd killing. I don't know why. I was like, not here. And then I was like, oh, we'll have it under control. There won't be spikes. Like, we're good people here. There won't be all these bad events going on and, like, all these reasons why cases are spiking. Reality check.
That's a tough subject to talk about, especially because, like, I mean, I have no juice to be able to like pass judgment on how like those minority communities react to that stuff, because I'm not a minority. So I keep my foot out of that. However you guys feel, I'll never know that feeling. So I can't be the one to tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing or how you should emotionally react to something. So, I mean, yeah, it's rough. It's a touchy subject, but I mean, altogether, I have a lot of friends that were protesting peacefully. By the way, like Dom organized a gigantic rally at Union Park, and I mean, everything's peaceful, but there's always a few fucking bad apples, you know, like that's what everybody likes to say, that have to like ruin it for everybody, and then of course everybody gets lumped into one thing. That makes everybody look like assholes, which is unfortunate. So
yeah, no, I even appreciate you sharing just that little bit there. I feel the exact same way. Like I'll never be able to understand what it's like, and I fully acknowledge that, and I've tried to do everything I can to help. I think this year has been fucking crazy in every single way. Good, bad, ugly, pretty. Like it is what it is. But I think everyone is like, okay, this is a reality, right? Like. We're coming closer together, even though we're further apart. I feel like in so many different ways. The music industry, I believe, is being stripped down to its core, and we're seeing what it really is, who it's really made of. And I just want to acknowledge you, Steve, because you're someone, like, when I interviewed you last year, you were so just like, this is what I love to do. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of success. And it's just so cool to see someone like you still doing that, because you're having success, like serious success. So congrats to you on a big year, like all things considered, man.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a John Summit year. Let's say that. Like, that motherfucker took the ball and threw it down the fucking hill. Like, he didn't just, like, roll it, you know. No. He wind up Randy Johnson that shit down the hill. That kid, I don't think anybody, like, made, like, apple pie out of just fucking an apple core, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That's like, I mean, I think that kid had like 10, 15 releases this year while no clubs were open, mind you. You know, so that's taking a big risk. But also, like, a lot of labels are doing that shit where they're holding on to their catalog for next year.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many labels are backed up with like tons of releases for 2021 already, because they just haven't been releasing as frequently as they typically would.
Yeah.
And I understand it, but I mean, for artists too, that it kind of sucks, because like sometimes material, like especially now, like with as many producers that there are out there, like music can age very, very quickly now.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, if you don't get it out there, shit, somebody else might beat you to the punch. Beat you to the punch on like a sample or something. And then you're like, yeah, fuck. Like, I made this shit a year ago. This kid just made this 2 months ago, and it's already out before mine. So
I have seen a lot of Splice vocals come to light, actually, like sometimes on the same day with same releases. It's funny, but are you producing differently? Are you going about your creative process any differently, or were you at now compared to where you were earlier?
No, but I've been biting off more stuff than I can chew at the moment, but intentionally, like.
Yeah.
Just so I don't get bored of something I won't have to just drive myself to like finish, especially if it's just an original for like something for me, I can let something marinate for a couple months and then come back to it. But like on top of that, also having like you mentioned earlier before we got on the interview, Nick Nice and those guys, like they're in the studio right next to us now. So like, there's a whole lot of stuff at Music Garage where it's like, oh, what do you think of this? Like, and they'll bring their shit over to my room and we'll jam it, and then I'll be like, oh, maybe you should like fix or tweak this.
Yeah.
Then we throw it on the big system and listen to it like for reference, like for club reference. So it's been a lot of back and forth. I think Nick and myself have we have pretty much a full album that's like probably like an 8-track album that's like some are finished, but a lot of them are like right around like the halfway done point. And it's just like figuring where we want to go with it, because we don't have a sound really either. We just want to make random cool shit. Some of it's minimal, some of it's bass house, some of it's just like stripped down tech house, so it's all different. It's just how you feel at the time. I don't go into a production session be like, I'm gonna make a tech house track, like cool, I'll start building drums, but if this shit swings a little better than being like a tech house banger, shit, it might turn into a minimal song. We'll see when we get there,
Yeah, it's kind of sounds similar to what you told me last interview. Like, you never really know what's going to happen when you get in the studio. Earlier this year, you started the year with a dubstep track with Porn and Chicken, Weed, right?
Yeah.
Forgot about that because it was so long ago at this point, probably.
That was last February. Holy crap.
Yeah, I know. I went through your 2020 releases today, but it just goes to show once again, like, you do have your method, Steve, and to me, it's something that I think is so awesome about you is just like, again, you go in just knowing that you want to be in the studio making music, and that's what makes you happy. You never know what you're going to come out with. Could be shit. I know you were struggling with some creative things, but it's great to hear you challenging yourself still.
Like, in every session's different. Like, last week I went in on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week, and I did 8-hour sessions all 3 nights.
Oh.
Monday and Tuesday I couldn't come up with anything that I liked. Sure enough, Tuesday came around and I finished a whole track mixed and mastered. But that's also because it was a remix and I had a deadline,
There you
so
go.
in my back of my head I'm like, I'm gonna knock it out, But the other 2 days I'm like, I had no agenda going in with. So sometimes my method can really fuck me. Sometimes it works out like in my favor. So that's good.
That's true. You have your process though. So you work through it. Right. So 2020, like I said, all things considered, you've killed it this year. Like I said, Weed with Porn and Chicken. You had Posin with Apollo XO. And that track was done for a while, and it's done pretty well in the streaming world. And it was, in my opinion, one of those tracks that would have done so well at a club.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It didn't get like a Beatport or release or anything. I let Apollo and I just kind of made that, like, threw that thing together in like one night, and then we did another session on it and like finish it, and then one more. So I think in 3 total, like 3 sessions, like 3 hours a piece, and we got it all self-mastered and everything. And I just let him take the reins and ran with it. And I think he only put it up on Spotify, but
yeah,
I think like the first week it did like 18,000 streams the first week or something, which was pretty cool. So
very good. Yeah, and it's a dope track. I remember put that in my last year's Chicago showcase. I think you guys had finished it already by then or about. So it's just wild to see, like when you said, labels are backed up. Even self-release are backed up. People don't know what to release, when, or why.
Yeah. People are worried about, people that self-release are worried now about themselves. They're like, should I pull the trigger on this or should I wait?
Yeah.
But I think most of them have been going the route of just cock it and let it go. I mean,
what is your opinion on that? While we're on top?
I mean, especially if you're self-releasing and streaming, like right to streaming platforms, I don't understand why you wouldn't, because I mean, ain't nobody going to fucking clubs right now. Like, what are they doing? Jamming on Spotify at home.
Yep.
Fucking and hanging out with their friends or roommates and just drinking and partying at their own crib. Like, they're not going anywhere. So, like, you might as well if you're going just that route. But if you're going more for DJs, like Beatport, iTunes, TrackSource type stuff, then I can understand why people are hesitant to release stuff for sale. But, I mean, if it's just going direct to a streaming platform only, fucking let it go. Fire them off, you know?
Yeah, I agree. People have no distraction. There's a difference, and there's a fine line, right, between like club playable, festival playable, it's streamable. You know what I mean? And I think everyone should find that.
The metrics are all totally different too, because like I'm pretty sure it's like 150 streams equals one purchase of the track. Honestly, I think it's like 150 to like 170 streams of 30 seconds or more.
Yeah.
And yeah, equals one sale. You know, so it's like, I mean, yeah, I don't even have a Spotify account. I think I went as far as to like claim my artist page that's on there, but I've never like I've never once opened Spotify. I'm like, I want to listen to this. Like, if I want to listen to something, I'll just open YouTube or something, or go on iTunes and buy the track. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I know you're a big YouTube guy, and of course, like as someone who started as or has been successful in the DJ world, when you're sending people tracks too, you send them SoundCloud waves, right? SoundCloud links, that sort of shit. You still use SoundCloud a lot?
Honestly, I don't like promote it or like interact with anybody on it. Like, I don't look for new music on there anymore or anything really, because like just the quality and the types of tracks that I typically play, like there's just not a whole lot of those things out there on Spotify. And if there is like tracks with like a cool instrumental somebody had made, there's always like a bullshit top 40 fucking acapella over it. So it's like, all right, well, it kind of ruined it for me. If it's something I like enough, I'll DM the person, be like, can I get this like as a dub? You know?
Yep.
And sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, but
that's true.
Yeah. I typically just use my SoundCloud just to upload my shit. Like, I think I only have like maybe 20 public tracks. I think I have 150 like private tracks that are just like laying there. Like, some are done, some aren't. Like, some are work in progresses.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's your vault. I remember you when I was at your studio, you were like just going through the SoundCloud. It's so many tracks.
Yeah, I probably have 8 to 10 albums worth of shit, random shit on there. You know?
I love that though. That's so funny. You keep it all there. But you also had one of my favorite tracks here, Victoria's Secret. You had sent me this one well before the release. Who is Pinkmachine, by the way?
Pinkmachine, man. His name's Steve. He's old friend, but his father used to own the legendary Hot Jams record store.
Yeah.
So he's just an old great friend. He throws his own parties. He does like Paradise at Exit with like Charlie Glitch and Eddie Riot and all those guys. So like the Mexican Pilsen crew, like Mexican techno crew, like that's all them. Yeah. But he's a great dude. And him and I made the beat in like 2 hours, I think, like straight from like machines and everything. And then he did the bass line on his Juno at home, and he sent me the MIDI table for it and the raw audio, and I was like, this is fucking great. And I like moved some of the notes around so it's like just a descending, like dun 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 dun, you know? And it just descended the whole time, and it was just an earworm. I think I listened to it on loop for like an hour, and I was like, I'm not tired of this. So I did the track, I recorded the vocal, and then just on a whim, I had sent it over to Harvard Bass.
Yep.
And he was like, I'm about to relaunch my label. He had his label Bump City.
Yep.
Ironically. His label Bump City that he had launched back in like 2011, but he just never did anything with it. So he relaunched it this year. First thing was he just put a Harvard Bass album out, like a 15-track album out on it, and then he put my single out maybe like 2 months after. So that was cool. If you like that sound, though, there's for stuff for next year, Hiroko and I finished a remix. The track I was telling you from last week that I finished in like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Me and Hiroko, it was a remix me and her and I did for Gettoblaster and DJ Dion. for Weejack. And right before we just started talking, I had just gotten off FaceTime with Paul. He was checking on me, making sure his baby's okay. I'm gonna grab a beer, be right back.
You're good. You're good.
So yeah,
dude, I gotta hear that. I gotta hear that track because you and Hiroko have. I mean, have you guys ever released a track? I know you have made some or kind of messed around some analog equipment you mentioned.
Yeah, we have a lot of like, her and I probably have like 8 to 10 like track starts that are just like laying around. We're just like basic drum percussion sequences, and beyond that, I mean, we never really pursued any of them beyond like those initial jam sessions, just because she's busy as hell too. Like she had a lot of music come out this year, so
yeah,
she got that. And most of the people she works with are from Europe, so she's on like weird timeline for for releases. So yeah, it's been tough. And then the DJ Dion remix came about where they Paul had offered it to her, and I was just in the room, and I'm like, "What up, Paul?" You know, like they're on FaceTime, and he's like, "Oh shit, you're with Steve." He's like, "Why don't you and Steve do it?" So the very he emailed me the parts, and the very next day we knocked it out in literally like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh my god, that's fucking awesome! That's awesome.
I will send it to you though.
Yes, can't wait to hear that, man.
And yeah, it'll probably come out in like February, probably January, late January, early February. Shit, what else? I have a track with Ose, another one for Ferris Wheel coming out probably March or April. Okay. And that's been by the time it comes out, it'll have been done for a year. So, you know, we'll see. But yeah, Ferris Wheel has a lot of great stuff coming out. Gene sent me the list earlier, and there's shit. They're all situated releases for all of 2021 already, for sure.
Oh, wow. What's going on with your collaboration with Ose? Is that one coming out in 2021?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the first one that's coming out from me on Ferris Wheel for 2021.
Right.
They got another single. They have a single of mine too, which probably won't be till the end of the year. And then they have they're putting out the track I did with Nick Nice, "Blow Your Mind" as well, which is weird because it's like a bass house track.
Yeah, shit.
So yeah,
that's awesome, man. Now, Victoria's Secret had your lyrics in there, you speaking, and that kind of leads into Servante, man. But tell me about, before we get into that, and if you could lead into the Servante, when you do your lyrics, Steve, what's your process? Do you have the track, have the instrumental? Do you have lyrics that you go back to, or what's your production process like there?
I'll never do vocals until like my drums and percussion are like situated where I want them.
Right.
From there, a lot of times from there, sometimes I'll build like a break first. Sometimes I'll start up on a drop, but usually I'll just sequence the whole track to like how I hear it go and be like, all right, do I want to do a minute intro? Do I want to do a 1.5-minute intro?
Yeah.
And then I'll build the track, the drums like into those sections already. And then I'll just let the track play, and I'll just like off the head, random like ad libs and stuff. I'll just let it play with a dry mic. And then as I'm doing that, I'll stop it. I'll make a new channel, and I'll be like, all right. And I'll just listen to it in headphones and just kind of like jot down like bar ideas, and I'll record them. And as I like, you know, the vocals come together as the track is coming together too. You know, you might write like, you might write like 8 bars of something, but like your cadence might not match like the swing of like a track, or you might have a stab, and like instead of getting rid of it, you kind of want to like make your vocals fit around your instrumental. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So you're not like backpedaling on a beat and on an acapella. So acapella is like probably the last thing I worry about, you know?
Yeah, I like that.
Funny thing about Victoria's Secret, most of those names are Pinkmachine's kids. So it was like 4 a.m. one night, and him and I were just fucking twacked. And I think I was just like, Victoria said I shouldn't keep no secret, you know. Yeah. And it just like he's like shit. Well, Sophia, that's that's his youngest daughter. He's like, Sophia. I'm like, all right, here we go. You know, that shit rhymes. Yeah, that came together easy.
That shit rhymes, man. White rapper over here. I like that. That's all you need, right?
Yeah. And then and then so going into Servante now, I think what was our last release was the Defected one, I think, right?
You had this beat and Frisky.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Frisky. Yeah, see, we did Frisky like almost 2 years ago.
Jesus Christ, man, really?
And we had it sent off to. It was signed to 2 other labels before Paul Anthony put it out on Weejack.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted it. I thought the song was too strong for them. Both of those labels, I'm not going to say what labels they were, but they both wanted to put it on a VA compilation, which is various artists.
Yeah.
I thought the song was too strong to just die like in the middle of a VA compilation.
Sure.
So I removed it from both of them because I thought it needed a single release, you know?
Yeah.
Down the line, a few months later, we'll do remixes for it, you know? So that's kind of how it came together really fast. I think Paul Anthony like crashed on my couch one night with his girlfriend, and I think we just got to talking about it. And he's like, I'll just fucking put it out. So I just sent an email right there. I was like, I'm gonna handle this on my own. Thanks for signing it, but I'm like, you know, I'm gonna withhold it now because I ain't signed no paperwork yet.
Right, rule number 1. I love that though, but it's so cool. I know your process in the studio. Of course, like when it comes back from music theory and all that stuff, but it's really cool to hear your voice blended in Servante tracks with your production partner. Can you tell us more about him and your guys' relationship?
Rick's one of those dudes where like we don't like. Well, for one, Rick and his wife moved to Milwaukee a couple months ago, so like I don't see him that much. I'll see him maybe once a year, but I mean, we still talk all the time. We shoot stuff back and forth together, and I mean, he's started a new job, so he's been busy. So whenever we do talk and like get down for a few hours and just like chat, like something will always like get started in those, you know, so they're not always just like a friendship, like chit chat bust thing. Yeah. Like, oh, we'll see you later, you know, but it's always one of those things where like we'll talk, catch up together for 15, 20 minutes. Then it'll get into like, well, what have you been working on? You know, and we'll send stuff back and forth. Yeah. And if something like strikes a chord with me or something strikes a chord with him, be like, oh, send me those drums, and vice versa. I'll be like, well, send me the stems for that, you know, and then whatever comes from there. I mean, for our distance and him having his own personal stuff he's got to handle and responsibilities, and same with me, like if we get 1-2 songs done a year for Servante, that's a plus for me, you know?
Sure. It's just it's cool to see like how your individual releases differ, but also are similar. And
we're not into that project to like blow up or like try to like make anything huge. That's just like a couple homies that like enjoy each other's company and like hang together. That just like if we get something that's like sick, then yeah, we'll put it out, you know.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you guys did have something that's sick, man. Like
we're not trying to force it or anything. So
yeah, of course. But I mean, you mentioned Gettoblaster earlier. This beat with them on Defected Records. Congratulations again. I know I told you a few times, but that's a major milestone. I know you, who kind of brought the thing up, but you acknowledge how big that is. You know how important of a release that is, how well known, respected of a label they are.
Yeah, Defected is that was definitely a tick off the bucket list for sure. And I've been consciously also like on some of like the solo stuff I've been like starting to work on, like since I had my foot in the door with them already. Now I've been kind of like, you know, making some stuff that I typically wouldn't make, like, you know, like more chill out loungy stuff, like so it's
awesome.
Shout out to them. They're crushing it. Every week they got something new that's just a fucking heater that comes out, you know, and the marketing team that they have behind there, I think they own like probably well over 20 different labels they have underneath the Defected belt, you know. It's
so sick. They're like a clean and classy version of spinning, man. It's just so cool. And all the live streams they do, they're just all about the people. They have so much culture behind their label, which is so unique.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that's somebody in electronic music has released on Defected for a reason. Yeah.
Amen, man. I mean, you got to acknowledge, of course, Pete Tong. That was so fucking sick, man. On I think it was Screams Mix or whatever it was. But to hear him say your name, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I forgot what show that was. I think he was doing a guest spot for like on Heidi's show or Anna Luno's show. I think it was Anna Luno's show. He was just doing like a filling in for or something. But yeah, I heard it, and I heard it in the car for the first time. So I was just like, and I was stoned. I was just like,
Is this real?
Yeah, I better call Paul.
So dope though, man. It was also a chart topper on Beatport, which, as you know, is a big difference between having a lot of streams and getting a lot of people to buy your track on Beatport, right?
Yeah, and Beatport's kind of a fickle distributor, and when I say that, I mean like they don't. It's very algorithm based, and there a lot of those bigger labels, like you mentioned, Spinnin'. Like, there's a lot of labels out there that will purchase their own records, you know, just to like get put in the charts. Or like, money's coming back to us anyways, so whatever. So a lot of people will do that. I mean, most of the that's not me saying that the tracks that are in the charts on there aren't great, because they're, I mean, if they're charted, they're charted for a reason, because they're made well. But on the flip side, I think a more accurate list of actual sales would be would be Track Source.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot more single. It's built more for DJs. It's because at like when Beatport was first conceptualized and like taken live, they're like how they were at the time is kind of how Track Source is now. Track Source is kind of like the redheaded stepchild almost for like when it comes to like music distribution sites. But I think their charts, because it's only house music based. You know, there's only like maybe 12 genres that are on there versus Beatport where there's like 120.
Yeah.
So I think the metric is a lot more accurate to like seeing what people are actually buying, seeing what people are actually playing, versus Beatport.
Yeah, what's that, Steve? Thanks for sharing that. That's something really important. I think DJs and producers should know as well. Track Source, I believe, is still very underrated. It's a
it is. There's keep in mind there's a lot of labels that only release on Track Source too.
Yeah,
like, can't find their shit on Beatport, or most other places. So
would you say Beatport's kind of like corporate? And I mean, I guess I kind of said it with Redhead Stepchild, but like Track Source is when Beatport first started, they were DIY. I'm not sure how in depth it was at the time, but Bad Boy Bill was one of the founders of Beatport. Really? Shit.
Yeah, and just at the time, I think it was first sold in like 2006, like 2006 or 2007. I'm pretty sure like was when that first sale went through. But I mean, it's ever since then, over the last 10 years, they have office space now. Like, look at that. You know, compared to before when it started, it was like 6 guys in a shitty cubicle, you know? So now it's, you know, you can't hate it. I mean, they're doing their thing. Beatport's still an amazing platform, but I mean, yeah, they could be a little more hands-on with some things, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So
it's fickle. Now, you had a lot of awesome releases this year, but you still were able to play a lot of sick shows. And I want to ask you about the drive-ins, and I wanted to ask you about the live streams. First off, have you done any live streams before the pandemic?
Maybe like one.
Yeah.
One or two, maybe, yeah.
Isn't it funny? All the DJs were like, I don't really know what I'm doing. OBS, okay.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, if you had told me, like, could you imagine 5-6 years ago, like, trying to stream something like that and get interaction with people, like, just like the back end on these websites are like so like done so well to make everything like so streamlined and easy. Like you don't have to read a fucking user's manual to set any of this up. You know, like anybody could stream anything now, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And it was like all of a sudden in March and April, we're like, all right, well, we got to figure this out. We're all inside anyway. I'd like to keep DJing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you've done so many cool ones, though. Like you've done Ferris Wheel, Dirty Bird, Desert Hearts. How's it been for you, I guess, like kind of just getting like mentally? Are you kind of just like pretending you're by yourself? Or are you like thinking and playing to a crowd for someone who's such a great DJ?
I'm never by myself. I usually got Gene Ferris in the background fucking laughing at me.
Playing for Gene then.
Yeah. They've been really good. The first drive-in that I did this year was for Lawrence for Lakeshore Drive-in at the planetarium.
Yeah,
that one was really good. And that was just me, Paul Johnson, and Gene.
Yeah, so sick.
And it went really well. They sold the lot was filled, which was surprisingly because they had ours was like a last minute thing. I think they had a big artist cancel for like it was on a Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it was on a Wednesday, and they didn't get a flyer up until like Tuesday night the week before. So like a week of promotion for that, when for us to fill it up was really sick.
Chicago showed out, man. I mean, you don't need it, but that's a stamp of approval for like a Chicago legend, man. Like to be on the lineup, to know those guys have a personal relationship with Paul and Gene, and it's like, all right, Steve's gonna play his fucking music. This is the best of the best. Chicago showed out, man.
And Paul Johnson gave me he had given me an edible that night.
He loves smoking weed.
Man, it was a gummy too. And I was drunk as shit that night, so I didn't eat it. I was smart enough then, but I ate it the next day, and I don't think I moved from my couch for about 16 hours.
Dude, that guy is a fucking legend, and he loves smoking weed. I respect him. Gene too. Those guys, man, they can just smoke you under the table. Can you hold yourself?
And I could hold my own with them, but I mean, PJ will still smoke Gene under the fucking rug.
That's fucking awesome, man. Tell me more about the LSD, because I know Lawrence from Soundbar, who you have a great relationship with, where you hold.
Tell me about LSD. Okay, strap in.
Yeah, this is actually Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
How did you come up with this? What was the process like? Because it was pretty incredible to see, honestly.
Lakeshore Drive-In was. I'm not sure who the other partners were. I know they had another talent buyer that was involved, but Lawrence was kind of the meat and potatoes behind running that drive-in and overseeing it and like getting offers out and using his connections as talent buyer and manager from sound with like taking some of the artists that we had holds on and offers out for like the end of the year for sound, and then like touching base with their agents like, hey, we could still do these dates, but it's going to be a drive-in outdoor thing, you know? So
right.
I think Lawrence was definitely instrumental on making that happen for sure.
That's massive, man. Why do you think those are so important, not only just in Chicago, but nationwide? I mean, give the people something, right?
I mean, not only that, but even the artists are like, the artists aren't taking full fees for this shit either. Because they know, one, they got bills and they'll take something right now. Number two, they want to get out of the house just as much as everybody else.
Yep.
And three, I don't know. It also, for one, I think the most important thing in those drive-ins too, since people can't play clubs right now, is they're able to like flex all this new music and shit that they've been working on, like because the first drive-ins didn't happen until like 4 months after like the initial heavy quarantine first started. So people were cooped up for several months before these even started. So everybody was already fucking ants in the pants.
Yes.
So I mean, every drive-in I went that I've played has been awesome.
Yeah, a lot of energy. You did them all, man. You did, of course, Gene, Farris, Paul Johnson, Derek Carter, Green Velvet. I actually saw you up at the Wax, Motif, and Walker and Royce show. Like it's cool because
you were there.
Around, yeah. I actually saw you playing, dude, and I didn't know that wasn't going to go through main PAs.
That was the only drive-in I did this year that didn't have sound. Luckily, I had monitors on stage.
I was listening to your monitors.
Yeah. I just had that shit cranked up and just wore my headphones all the time. Yeah, and then like when I was done, like I walked through all the crowds and like so many of the cars weren't even like fucking wanging at all. Like they had their volumes down to like 10, and I was like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Open your doors up. Dude, and put shit up to 30. Like, let's go, you know?
We had a tech house tailgate. Luckily, we had a speaker, and we fucking were just crushing beers. It was a great time. That was actually the only one I could go to. But what I was gonna say is, it's so cool to actually see like it's like a culture within a culture. Like there are still like ravers there. There are still people who love the music, and it's just awesome to see. Like a lot of people thought that this industry, and certainly some of it is like drug infused, right? Like people are doing it because they like to get fucked up. But there's still so many people that are doing it and going to these things and driving out to McHenry, Illinois. You know what I mean?
That was not a fun drive.
It was a far drive, but you got some.
I drove all that way to play for 30 minutes. Did I want to get out of the house? Yes.
But it's just so cool to see like our culture thriving with these live streams, with these drive-ins. Like it's not going to die. And that's what I meant earlier, you know, like the industry.
I don't think streaming is going to die at all. If anything, I think it's only going to keep growing, especially when clubs are around, like clubs start to open back up gradually. If I had to make an educated guess, I would say we will start seeing venues reopen around probably the April mark, like first week of April. Yep. Last week of March is when things are going to start, you know, like gradually the wheels will start spinning again. But
yeah, I mean, shit, you played at Spy Bar once. We got a little taste, and then it just got pulled away, which made it so much worse.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, the first night that they were legally allowed to open, I think they only opened for 3 nights total. Like
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Next night, and then like one day the next weekend, and then the city pulled the plug on that again. Yeah,
of course. On that note, Steve, for someone that has your hands in so many different pots in the industry, whether it be on the DJ side, the production side, the venue side. I mean, I know you love AV. Like, there's so many people involved, right, in this industry. What is the state of the industry now, in your opinion? Like, where are we at now? Where can we go? What are we going to learn from this time? What's your thoughts?
I mean, if there's, well, to start it off, if there's anything we can learn, I think this heightened, like the heightened awareness behind like your hand washing, covering your fucking face when you sneeze, all that shit. I think this opened a big eye to how easily germs and shit are spread. So like, definitely. hopefully like people like take something good from this and like kind of apply that to like how they live from now on, you know?
Yeah.
Like be more conscious of where you're putting your hands and fucking like touching your own face and shit. So I in that sense, I think it's good that people are gonna like probably start to apply that to how they live once all of this is over.
Yeah.
But the industry, I mean, most people I see, I would say probably 80 to 90% are still like doing odd jobs and just waiting until this blows over until they can go back to what they do. Cause like, you also gotta look at like bartenders and servers. Yeah. Like I would say at least in Chicago, I would say probably 95% of them are educated. They all went to college. They know what they're doing, but they also have a love for like the scene. It doesn't have to be the music or anything. It could just be nightlife in general. But I mean, they're all waiting until this blows over too. And I really hope it does. Bartenders and servers, like look at our friend Nino now is going, he's doing COVID tests now, you know, like, so people are still finding work here and there when they can. But I mean, I think most of them are just waiting until this blows over so they can get back to doing what they love, which is being behind a bar and seeing the people they enjoy serving and, you know, making money.
For sure. I hear you. Do you think, for better or for worse, creatives will leave the industry because they can't make money or weren't in for the right reasons or can't stay motivated or whatever?
It's tough. I at least on my end, I haven't noticed anybody being like, all right, well, I'm packing my shit up. I'm done. Like, this was a good ride type of thing. I haven't seen that to the extent that I thought I would.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people, if like they can't afford to live how they were living before through this, I mean, shit, you could always go stay at mom and dad's. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I am surprised though that more people haven't just kind of like taken a back seat and have been like, all right, I got to focus on like my own stuff. Granted, they are, or they just don't announce every move they make in their personal life on social, so you would never know. But I mean, yeah, I again though, I will reiterate, it's a lot better than I thought it would have. I'd be like, damn, a lot of people are gonna be fucked, especially with work, you know, like I don't expect somebody with like like that went to grad school to go fucking work at Subway, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, nobody's gonna do that. So it's just playing the waiting game again, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I wholeheartedly agree. I think that there are some, I would say just at least like the people just kind of hanging out on the fucking outskirts. They're just like, yeah, I don't think I stand a chance, which is good. And I think competition will be less, but it's not about competition anymore. I think that's been the coolest part is I've seen so many people in the music industry come together, collaborate, whatever it might be, share ideas. Like we all have each other and we always have. And now I think that's coming to light more than ever. And it's really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of like collectives and just like not even just collectives, but a lot of individuals that you would like if you told me here, perfect example, if you told me 5 years ago that you'd have Mike Lang from the Mid, John Curley, Bar, and fucking Dom Brown all launching a company together, I'd tell you you're out of your fucking ragged ass mind.
Yep.
That would never happen. Sure enough, now they're launching it. Now they're launching a whole company, festivals next year, multiple new festivals for 2021. And yeah, I signed an exclusivity with them. So did Hiroko. So her and I will be playing a lot of shows for them next year. So I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, that's literally the perfect example. It's just so cool to see them all coming together for like there's a bigger purpose to all this shit.
It's I mean it's now so you have a partnership now. You have Radius, Spybar, they're partners now, which is like really, like, really the guy that owns React, that owned React is now partnering with John Curley. Like what? Like am I in Narnia right now? What the fuck's going on? So yeah, again, anything can happen. It's like I'm most excited for 2021 for that reason to see what that team pulls off for us. It's going to be sick. I can't let too much info out on that, but yeah, get ready for some great underground parties and great festivals.
Fuck yes. No, I'm damn Stampy's going to be fucking front row whenever you're playing next, man. See, one of my last questions for you is, for you personally, has anything changed about the way you're thinking about the future?
Not really. I'm just along for the ride. I'm in the fucking caboose of this train right now, so we'll see. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, but all I can do is guess. And I mean, I think by end of March and April, the ball is gonna start rolling again, and people are gonna start getting a little like feeling a little more at ease, like going back to work and everything. And so, me personally, I'm fine. I'm still working my regular job and just going to the studio like 2 nights a week and just getting my stuff done and then just going home and just staying safe. That's all you can really do right now.
Did you golf more this year though? You must have.
I golf more this year than I have in the last 10 years. I golfed this year. Well, this summer I golfed probably 2 to 3 days a week for about probably 6 months. And then next week I'm going to Florida to golf for another 4 days. So I'm excited.
With all the shows you were playing.
What's up?
You wouldn't have been able to do that with all the shows you were playing if this year was as normal as it's supposed to be, right? Hell no.
Nope.
What's your handicap, Steve? What's your handicap? Come on, I know you're a good golfer.
I'm all right. You know who the best golfer between all of us in Chicago right now is Jay Sephora.
No way. I just watched the video of him missing a fucking 5-foot putt though.
Yeah, Anamali. Jay's playing at like he's playing at like a 4 or 5 handicap this year.
Whoa.
I'm playing at like an 8. Like an 8, Still not bad. Low 80s, low 80s, high 70s sometimes when I'm lucky, but yeah, I mean, we got our little team, like me, him, Gene Farris, Dan Kelly, Dogma, Green Velvet's fucking cousin, Bruce. Like every week we'll go out like every Wednesday with like 2 foursomes and just get fucking blasted.
So much fun, isn't it? I forgot how fun golf was.
It's fun. Even if you suck at it, just go out there with your homies and just drink your fucking ass off, and you'll have fun.
Steve, fucking man, I didn't realize I like cigars so much too. Like I was like, oh, we're going out. I'm bringing cigars. We're gonna smoke some weed. We're gonna drink. Like I was like, damn, this is so much fucking fun. But then you get in your mind a little bit, right? And you're like, okay, I gotta hit a good shot here though.
Yeah, you get in your groove, or you get in your own head and fuck it all up.
Yeah, that's golf. So what do we got in 2021? What can you tell us about?
2021, let's see. I already know I have like 4 or 5 tracks that are already signed and submitted. But again, just waiting on a release date, just playing the waiting game. There's nothing, it's out of my hands now. So whenever that stuff comes out, I got a remix pack in the other day from Eco Boy that I'm going to start on next week. It'll be a minimal track that I'm remixing. What else? I have the track with Hiroko. And on it, right before we started the interview, Paul Anthony called me and he said they're just submitting everything through Label Driver. So that'll probably be up in like January or February. Yeah. So I'm pretty set for 2021. So I'm probably just like over the next few weeks, I'm just gonna start like firing off just a bunch of new just new track ideas starts and everything, and just see where it take me. I'll probably start 6 or 7 new things, and I'll maybe finish 1 or 2. So we'll see.
That's all right, man. It's like fucking sales. You make 100 phone calls, 10 people are gonna pick up, and 1 person is gonna say yes. It's the same thing with music, right?
Exactly.
I love that, man. Well, it's always such a pleasure talking to you, Steve. Again, congrats on a huge year, man, all things considered. It's so good to see you.
Thank you.
Still doing your thing, man, for real.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't have done this and drank 30 beers tonight, but.
Dude, I know. You were like, all right, I got you 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I'll call off work then. Love it, man. Well, we'll get together as soon as we possibly can, and definitely next year I want to come golfing with you. I'm going to be working on my game.
Oh, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
Off-season. Go to hit that range in the off season.
You're right. Fucking Top Golf, Golf Simulator, whatever I got to do to get to a fucking 10 par, 10 handicap, whatever I got to do. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Steve. You have a good night, man, and feel better, and good luck golfing next week, okay?
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, Steve. Have a good one, my friend.